What's up, everybody? My name is Corvus, and welcome back to the ministry. It's been a little while since I made a video. I've been pretty busy lately with the 4th of July passing and a bunch of other stuff, but I'm back at it. In this video, we're going to be going over the Freehold system from June. It was probably one of the best live streams I've seen since the Unreal Engine 5 update. There was a ton of information, and I think it was pretty good. This might be a little bit of a long one, so keep that in mind, but let's get into it. First, let's start off with the basics. Freeholds are an area that is player created, and it allows a group of players using the family system, or just you, to be able to run an area. And they can choose to place down many different types of buildings, farm plots, or even create businesses that other players can utilize. So in order to get the Freehold, you will actually need to complete a quest and then bid on a plot of land. The current system, you're bidding with gold, but they're considering switching that to like reputation. There'll be plots of land throughout each node and vessel node that you can own, and once you do, you'll be able to place down your house from a top-down perspective. And these areas should be about 1.5 acres, and they'll be extremely customizable. You'll also be able to utilize the housing market where you can actually buy and sell freeholds as well. So once you get your plot of land, the first thing that you'll need to do is place down your house. And there's 3 different sizes of housing. You can do small, medium, or large. And the size of the house depends on how much furniture that you can place in it. Furniture won't be just cosmetic. There'll be a lot of functionality to furniture as well. But if you pick a bigger house, you'll have less space in your freehold for other buildings and plots of farmland. You will also be able to earn or purchase blueprints that will change the look of a building in your freehold. They're deciding if they should have this apply to only one building or the surrounding area. You will also be able to have businesses in your freehold, such as a tavern, for example, where you can sell food and drinks that apply buffs, or you can even have an inn where players can stay and sleep to get rested experience. So if there was like a mob grinding area around your house, it might be beneficial to have beds where people can sleep, so that way they can go get their rested experience, so then they will get increased XP gain from those mobs that they're killing. You can also have like a marketplace where you can sell goods that either you created or that you acquired from other players, and you can help run this marketplace or tavern by utilizing that same family system. So you can set permissions so other players can also help run these businesses. So as you level up your freehold, you'll actually be able to upgrade different types of buildings and add perks to them. For instance, you can upgrade the beds in your tavern to give even more rested experience. And if you wanted to run 2 taverns in the same freehold, you could, but you'll just have to give up more of that building space. Now for artisans. Each artisan or profession will have buildings that are tied to it, and these buildings also have perks that you can apply to them. For example, you can increase the stats on weapons that you create if you wanted to go that route, or you can increase the amount of yield that you get from farming, or you could even reduce the cost of creating items through materials. The highest level of processing happens within the freehold, so you're going to need a freehold in order to reach that Grandmaster processor. We also learned that each artisan will basically have 4 different stations, and as you progress, you will keep on moving to the next station. So the one thing that I'm really interested in is I'm interested in to see how much of permissions you can give to the average player. So some guy just walking by, I wonder if you can let them use certain stations or buildings in your house to help them. In order to use certain artisan crafting or processing stations, you're going to actually need fuel in order to use them. So wood or coal, you can even combine a mixture of both, whatever you need to do to get it done. So right when the gameplay side of the stream started, we got to see the area around the freehold. And in this area, there was an ore called calcianite. It's a mid-tier ore for crafting, and it kind of just shows that before placing your freehold, you should probably figure out what resources are in the area, so then that way you can really utilize it on certain stations and, whatever artisan class that you picked. Also, just look at this view. I mean, this game is literally looking amazing. It's coming along so damn good. It always impresses me. Every single live stream we get to see, what type of upgrades they have done, and from watching this game all the way back since 2017, you get to really see this level of development that is really starting to rapidly increase, and it's just getting me pretty hyped up. So as Steven is mining this calcianite, they're just kind of discussing how each form of gathering will have 3 different tools with customized stats. So you're going to need to make sure that you're bringing the right tool with you, as well as the right stat combination. They also showed off this bunny It's called the Lightfoot mount, and it looks pretty cool. I mean, look at the animation of it hopping around. It's pretty sick. So this is Bucky's Freehold. He's a developer for Ashes, and he chose to have more farmland, so he sacrificed that extra room for buildings. So for farming crops, you'll be able to find seeds within the world, or you can go purchase them and place them down in your Freehold. And depending on your perks and the upgrades of your Freehold, you'll actually be able to output more in your Freehold than just versus the open world farming. And the animal husbandry system will take advantage of these crops, and you'll be able to feed your animals. And you can choose from two different types of versions of animal husbandry. You can go the more mount way, where you'll be able to customize stats on certain mounts, and you'll also be able to go a more farming way, where you can choose, specific stats for livestock, where you could increase the amount of output that the cow produces milk with or whatever. So the player inventory is actually cut into 3 different sections. You have your regular inventory, your materials, and your quest items. And most of these will just use the normal slot-based system that every other MMO basically has, but the materials will take a different approach by having a more of a Tetris-based system where certain materials would take up more space in your bag versus, like tomatoes. And there are going to be bags that, for example, increase the amount of wood that you can carry or increase the amount of tomatoes that you can carry, so you'll be able to customize your inventory that way as well. And here's some of the furniture that Bucky placed down. As you can see, his house actually looks really good. There's some paintings on the wall. There's like Bucky in armor. There's a sandal for Steven, and there's just some pretty nice looking furniture. You'll be able to completely customize the look of your houses, and each one of these furniture pieces you can place down individually, and it just looks pretty good. So we get back outside, and here's a clip of Steven shearing a sheep. Then he goes ahead and milks this cow. And then he completely murders this pig. And animals will have different types of byproducts. For example, you'll be able to either murder your cows to use for beef, or you can just use them to milk. They showed off one of the artisan crafting stations. This is the metalworking one, and they teased that we're going to get a live stream dedicated to crafting pretty soon. Keep in mind, once you own a Freehold, it's not completely safe, and it's not like you're going to own one forever, because you're definitely not. It's going to get destroyed eventually, and you're going to be without a Freehold from time to time. And how that system works is, if the node that your Freehold resides in ever gets destroyed, you will have a 2-hour period where you should probably protect your house, because players can come up to it and destroy it, or even loot it. And with your node being destroyed, if it doesn't now fall under the zone of influence of a stage 3 node, which is a village, then you're going to have 1 week to complete a quest that'll basically give you the rights to be able to transfer it to a different node if there is an available node to do that. So with that all out of the way, we return back to the stream and they show off some artwork, so I'm just going to let that play through. And now we have a quick studio update. Ashes actually just hired a new lead game design. His name is Bill Trost, and he has worked on and led many MMOs, including EverQuest, EverQuest 2, Defiance, and New World. And some of you might know, we haven't had a lead game design since Jeff, and Jeff basically left like 2 years ago, so this is going to be nice. It's going to help kind of like shape the future of Ashes, as well as potentially speeding up the development. And as far as the Q&A goes, we learned a couple of different things that I'm just going to quickly discuss. First, you will actually have to pay taxes on your Freehold and your businesses on your Freehold. And this is obviously subject to change, but there's that. We also learned that your home within your Freehold is considered to be a safe place. So if there's anybody chasing you, wanting to attack you, you can just run inside your house to avoid that conflict. And for some of you that know a little bit about the monster coin system, you will be able to play as large bosses like Tamok that was shown last month to, help with these castle sieges and whatnot. So I'm a little bit still on the fence about the monster coin system. I think it could be fun, but I feel like it has to be done correctly. But that's just something that we'll have to find out. And that is finally it for this month's live stream. They teased that next month's live stream is going to be about Metropolises, which is probably going to be much longer, as well as a ton of more information, and they're really showing off these big systems, so kind of just shows you how far in development they actually are, and it's really starting to show. I'm getting more and more hyped every month, so I would like to thank everyone who made it this far in the video, and I hope to see you in the next video where we can get even more hyped for Ashes of Creation. But with that being said, peace.